Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Thursday, the 4th day of June. This is CTV News. Tonight, an unstable situation. Apartment building evacuated over crane concerns. The devastating toll street drugs are taking on users in Moncton. And Tracy and Martina going west. The Cape Breton duo bring their documentary home to the East Coast.
Live from our Maritimes News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. It's been an unsettling day and night for a great many people in the Fairview area of Halifax. Part of a newer neighborhood was evacuated and others were put on alert after safety concerns were raised about a nearby construction crane. Tonight, the city says about 100 people remain out of their homes while experts come up with a repair plan. CTV's Vanessa Wright has more.
Tense moments for people living in this apartment building after learning a nearby construction crane had become unstable.
I was on my way home from dropping the kids off at the airport, and I tried to get in through one direction and saw the police, and thought maybe it was just a sort of a minor emergency. Came around, and when I tried to get in another side street, I saw the police again. So I thought, okay, this is potentially a bad situation.
Fire officials say the structural integrity of the crane continues to present what they call a significant collapse risk. So one building in the Supreme Court complex on Dutch Village Road was evacuated, with others initially put on notice.
A little confused, a little overwhelmed. Just was coming down the street and saw that the road was closed. Made my way around, parked my car, and just came up here and asked what was going on. Experts
are being brought in from outside HRM to assist crews in coming up with a plan to stabilize the big machine. In the meantime, road closures and detours remain in effect in a wide swath of the neighborhood, and the city has opened a local community center for evacuees to register with the Red Cross.
Any idea what you're going to do next from here?
No, I have no idea. We'll figure it out. Make drive to my parents' house. Might be the only option.
Ongoing construction in the area has become an annoyance for many residents, but today's incident takes it to a new level, although they admit it could be far worse.
More relieved on the onset than anything that this was caught before a disaster occurred, right? Because people could get hurt, and now that the evacuation seems to be pretty much well underway, the worst that can happen is property damage as opposed to human damage, which would be much, much worse.
Firefighters are expected to remain on scene overnight. Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Halifax.
2 people arrested yesterday in Sydney after fleeing the scene of a stabbing have now been charged with murder. Police have charged 29-year-old Pavel Benjamin Pack and 32-year-old Vernon Gregory Pack, both of Wagmacook, with second-degree murder. Police found 39-year-old Terrence Campbell with stab wounds in Whitney Pier yesterday. He later died in hospital from his injuries. Both of the accused appeared in court this afternoon. 53-year-old construction worker died in the job in New Brunswick today. Officials say the worker with Northern Construction was hit by a transport truck early this morning on Highway 2 just outside Oromocto. The road was under construction at the time and the investigation is ongoing, but no charges are expected in that matter. To Moncton now, where laced street drugs have sparked an overdose crisis that is on full display in the city. CTV's Derek Haggett continues his reporting tonight, but you should know some of what you're about to see is unsettling.
Scenes of despair like this have been common in downtown Moncton over the last few years. But for the past 7 days, things have been much worse.
The last week has been really bad.
Heidi Callahan and Trey Miller are staying in shelters. They spent the morning walking around checking on friends. Both had Narcan kits in case someone suffering from an overdose needs to be revived.
The drugs that are out now are insanely strong, and they're high in tranq, and people are dropping left, right, and center. I've never seen anything like it.
Since last Friday, Ambulance New Brunswick's 911 dispatch team has responded to well over 100 overdose-related calls. A batch of fentanyl laced with tranquilizers, the likely reason why. But many will keep using no matter what because they don't want to waste what they've already purchased.
once you've bought that fentanyl, it's, you know, you're going to do it because you want to get high. You need that high. You crave that high.
The cheaper the drugs are, the more unreliable and the more unstable they are.
A spokesperson for Ambulance New Brunswick says they received 20 suspected overdose calls from noon yesterday up until 11 o'clock this morning. The Moncton Fire Department responded to 16 calls between 3 p.m. Wednesday and 3 p.m. today. The usual average, 5 per day. The province says they're looking into the spike in overdoses.
They're identifying it potentially to be connected with a particular strain of a bad drug, and we lean on our partners like Ensemble and others in these instances to get us the real information of what's happening on the ground.
Holt says the Department of Justice and Public Safety is working to crack down on the supply that's making its way to the streets. Derek Haggett, CTV News, Moncton.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
New Brunswick's Green Party is looking for a new leader tonight. After 14 years at the helm, David Kuhn today announced he is stepping down. He gave the Greens their first seat in the provincial legislature. Says he wants his replacement to have plenty of time to settle in and prepare before the next election.
I want to make sure that the new leader has a runway of 2 years or so to introduce themselves to New Brunswickers and to prepare.
Still, Kuhn hasn't ruled out the possibility of running again as a Green MLA in 2028. Some elementary and middle school students in Fredericton were served lunch today by the Premier. Susan Holt was announcing the provincial government's plan to split the cost of student lunches with families as part of a new Pay What You Can program in schools right across the province. The government is spending $26 million on the program in the next year, and it's already been tested at a few select schools.
This means that families will have access to a $4 lunch option for students from kindergarten to grade 8 and a $5 lunch option for students from grade 9 through to grade 12.
The lunch program will begin this fall. Last September, the New Brunswick government launched a universal breakfast program in schools, which is expected to cost about $11 million over 3 years. Halifax police officers expected to be outfitted with body-worn cameras by the end of the year, but the use of the technology remains a source of debate, along with issues of accountability and, of course, privacy. CTV's Callum Smith has details.
Body-worn cameras are knocking on the door for Halifax Regional Police, with terms like accountability, transparency, and privacy in the spotlight.
Does the presence of a body-worn camera on an officer reduce the likelihood of the use of force? And 2, does the presence of a body-worn camera reduce civilian complaints about police? And the answer to those 2 questions is inconsistent.
The co-author of a body-worn cameras book says strong policy is needed.
We will not turn on our systems until such time that everything is, policies in place, the staff are in place.
Halifax Police inked a contract with vendor Axon in March for a digital evidence management system, body-worn cameras, and in-car cameras. Previous 5-year cost estimates were nearly $12 million, almost $2.4 million annually.
Yes, it is expensive, but it's the cost of doing business. And I think body-worn cameras serve 2 purposes. They help to protect our residents and make sure that everything is going the right way when there's interaction with the police. It also protects our police officers when there's maybe false claims against them.
What it provides in terms of accountability and transparency, I think it's a good move forward, and that it's something that I think that will serve public safety for everyone in a good way.
Footage can also be used in court, but Schneider warns body cameras will never paint a complete picture. The rollout is to finish by the end of December. Callum Smith, CTV News, Halifax.
Nova Scotia government says the province gained an additional 199 physicians during the 2025-26 fiscal year. Nova Scotia Health Authority says 278 new doctors joined the healthcare system, while 79 retired or otherwise left, resulting in a recruitment rate that was 10% higher than the previous year. The new recruits included 111 family doctors, 167 specialists. About 40% of the new physicians were internationally trained, including 33 Americans. Striking long-term care workers took their picket line to a construction site in Cape Breton today.
And we just did a work stoppage here to try and get some attention to our cause.
The protest did stop work on a new healthcare center in Cape Breton. This is a new tactic for the union in a strike with seemingly no end in sight.
We are under an essential service agreement, which is quite brutal. The scheduling is terrible. People are going in there 14, 18, 21 days straight, plus on the picket line.
There are nearly 28,000 health professionals in acute care, home care, and in long-term care who've already accepted the offer. And sadly, we know that some are leaving one long-term care facility to go across the street. They're voting with their feet.
This afternoon, CUPE paused the strike at an urgent treatment center in Arichat, acknowledging it is the only medical treatment center near that community. And after 8 weeks, it's become clear it is needed. Nova Scotia Premier Tim Houston says he's not concerned the lone company looking to explore for oil and gas off the coast is asking for more time to meet a key financial deadline. The province has given a 60-day extension to Incepto Oil and Gas to put a $52 million deposit down, which is tied to its $210 million bid to look for oil and gas off the coast of Nova Scotia. Houston says the company asked for more time and he's not worried, insisting this is part of reviving a sector that was once thought to be outlawed forever.
I don't think there's any reason for concern. It's all part of where we're coming from and where we're going to. I mean, we had an industry that was shut down in Canada for quite some time. So I think through this process, we've been trying to build confidence that we're serious about moving forward.
Houston says the province and the company are working through the regulation process, and the extension is simply part of that. All right, still to come tonight, Kaylin's full forecast, and we'll tell you how maritime shoppers are finding ways to economize in this age of soaring food inflation. Coming up next, though, smooth sailing.
We really want to make sure that anyone who wants to come out and see Halifax from the water or move around by water can.
A new service launches in the Halifax Harbor that may offer an alternative to frustrated commuters. Details are next. Hope to see you soon.
With Aaron and Peter. Move 100's $10,000 Move It or Lose It is back.
Register for your shopping spree starting Monday at 6 a.m.
Halifax Harbor has been identified as the most effective way to move commuters in a city where traffic has become a real problem. Today, a new service launched on the water with an aim to help with all of this. CTV's Hafsa Arif checked it out.
The newest ride on Halifax Harbor isn't a ferry, but an electric water taxi, launching today from the Halifax waterfront.
You know how busy it can be when it's a nice day out here, so we really want to make sure that anyone who wants to come out and see Halifax from the water or move around by water can.
The service is starting with tours around the harbor and trips to destinations like George's Island. For some passengers, it offers a whole new perspective of the city.
Work down on the waterfront here, so it's really interesting to be able to see it from this perspective. It's very beautiful.
After spending years on Halifax waters, Rob Goss says he's excited to introduce more people to the harbor.
Great opportunity. It's spend time on the water here and give people a taste of the city that you wouldn't see from shore.
And getting close to George's Island has quickly become a highlight.
You look at it from the wharf all the time, but seeing it up close is just so cool to see it up close.
Others were already seeing practical uses for the service.
Even for me, I commute like almost 40 minutes to the waterfront here every day. And especially when the bridge is out or something like that, the ferry, this can make it a lot easier for me to get to work.
Hafsa Arif, CTV News.
Thank you, Hafsa. Time for a quick little break here, but when we return, your complete maritime weather forecast. We're on the doorstep of another weekend, and it's not looking too bad. Kaylin's got all the details coming up next. Evening across much of the region tonight. Let's get our forecast with Kaylin Mitchell.
Thank you, Bruce. It's a fairly quiet weather night for the Maritimes. We have a little bit of high cloud drifting over the region, a low chance of a couple of showers in the north of New Brunswick. That as this low pressure system mostly passes to the north of the Maritime region. In behind it, we do have a change in the wind direction for tomorrow. That's going to play a role in the temperatures for Friday. They are going to be generally cooling off around the Maritimes after today's, in some cases, hot temperatures. Parts of New Brunswick, parts of the interior of the southwest of Nova Scotia getting up into the low 30s. Taking a look at our timeline, though, for cloud cover and precipitation heading into the start of the day for tomorrow. It'll be mostly a mix of sun and cloud around for the morning hours. In the afternoon, either a fair weather mix of sun and cloud or mostly sunny, depending on what part of the Maritimes you are in. It looks like it's going to be mostly sunny for much of Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, the southeast of New Brunswick. A bit more of a mix of sun and cloud for northern and western areas of New Brunswick. Some changes ahead for the weekend forecast that see some more cloud cover move into the Maritimes, followed up by some rain and some showers. Taking a look at the winds, though, for Friday, here comes that change in the wind direction. It'll be out of the northeast for most of the region, sustained around 10 to 20 kilometers per hour with some gusts between 20 and 40. This is going to have a cooling effect, mostly around eastern parts of the Maritimes for tomorrow, and we'll see that as we get into our temperature forecast. So first of all, low temperatures for tonight for much of the region falling into a range around 10 to 15 degrees, and the high temperatures for tomorrow in the north of New Brunswick, still some low 20s in the northwestern corner of the province, but in the northeast, mostly between around 18 and 20 degrees. Fredericton tomorrow, the high temperature near 24. It'll be near 22 for St. John, and then 18 degrees for Moncton in the southeast. A mix of sun and cloud, northeast wind, 10 to 20 kilometers per hour. For Prince Edward Island on Friday, mostly sunny. Northeast wind, 20 gusting to 40 kilometers per hour, and cooler compared to today with high temperatures 11 to 15. And parts of Cape Breton, temperatures come down for Friday as well. Many communities with highs between 14 and 18 degrees, so it could still be warmer around the interior of Cape Breton with Bedeck closer to 21. Around 18 for New Glasgow and Antigonish for tomorrow for communities on the eastern shore of Nova Scotia. Most of the highs between 18 and 22 degrees. 18 for Amherst, 23 for Truro. Halifax tomorrow, the high temperature near 23. In the Annapolis Valley, high temperatures near 24 degrees. And on the south shore of Nova Scotia, high temperatures between 21 and 24. In the extended outlook for New Brunswick, temperatures come down a bit more on Saturday with increasing cloudiness and showers moving into the province. After that, it'll be rain developing Saturday night into Sunday. That rain clears away for the start of next week. It's over to a mix of sun and cloud, and temperatures warming right back up, especially for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. For Nova Scotia, in the outlook coming up on Saturday, increasing cloudiness during the day, but rain arriving Saturday night and around for Sunday. The wet weather clears. It's back to a mix of sun and cloud through the first part of next week, and high temperatures, but it should be mostly back up into the 20s by the time we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And for Prince Edward Island in the forecast, temperatures cooling off a bit for Saturday. Actually, they cool off for Friday. They rise a little bit for Saturday, highs near 18 degrees, then cool for Sunday with rain in the forecast. Then it's a mix of sun and cloud Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week with temperatures warming up through that stretch. Bruce.
All right, thank you, sir. Wake up weather is still to come. In the meantime, we'll step aside for just a couple of minutes. Hope to see you soon.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
It's more than it did a year ago. In some cases, like beef, a lot more. From coffee to baby formula, there are some staples Canadians have had to cut back on, but they're not willing to give up others. CTV's Stephanie Seacos has more.
We shop flyers. We're diligent that way. I mean, we're retired, so we have time on our hands.
According to the most recent data, food prices rose 3.5% year over year, with everyday staples seeing much steeper increases.
It doesn't matter what you reach for in the aisle. I mean, everything's gone up.
The produce has gone up. We're growing some vegetables now. I planted some seeds, and we're going to see if we can grow some more.
Meat remains one of the biggest contributors to food inflation, with beef prices in particular soaring.
Many cuts are up more than 40% in some cases. So people are turning down to ground beef, but ground beef is also up. The biggest challenge right now is chicken, because people are pivoting over to chicken, and chicken prices are also going up.
If you were hoping to cut back on meat in favor of adding more fresh vegetables, that will cost you too. Prices were up nearly 8% year over year. Another staple that's been hit, coffee. It continues to rank among the fastest rising grocery items.
The problem with taxes and tariffs is that it leaves a legacy behind. So prices are psychological. So when grocers will raise prices due to higher costs, they rarely come down.
We switched from using our Keurig every day to going back to grinding our own beans and using our regular coffee pot.
Stephanie Seco, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Stephanie. Well, time for one final break tonight. Coming up, Going West with Tracy and Martina. First, though, your wake-up weather. Here's a live look at St. John on this positively balmy Thursday evening. Kaylin's Wake Up coming up next. We have now eased into Friday morning. Let's kick it off with a look at the wake-up weather from Kaylin Mitchell.
Thank you, Bruce. And Friday morning around the Maritimes will be a mix of sun and cloud. Morning temperatures mostly between 10 and 15 degrees. Doesn't get quite as warm tomorrow or for Friday compared to Thursday. We have high temperatures that'll be mostly in the low to mid 20s in western areas of New Brunswick and western Nova Scotia, but high temperatures around the low to mid teens around parts of Prince Edward Island and the east of Nova Scotia. Bruce.
Thank you, sir. See you again tomorrow. Well, Cape Breton's favorite comedy duo hits the big screen in Nova Scotia this weekend. Tracy and Martina, Going Out West, has already been a big hit in Charlottetown and the Yukon. CTV's Brianne Foley got to sit down with the stars.
That's the test. We're going to Alberta.
So what? Hi, sexies. It's Tracy, hon.
I'm your girl, Martina.
The duo you know and love has moved from your home screen to the big screen.
We shot that probably, what, 2 years ago?
It was 2 years ago, yeah. Since then, we've been back out to West, and we've done a whole cross-Canada tour.
Yes,
and we're going out again, so a lot of miles on us.
Nice to see Canada, but I prefer being home, eh?
A road trip that actually brought them to their roots.
Meet all the Cape Bretoners that I didn't see since high school.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just all the people that go out west to work.
There's a lot of expats, eh?
Yeah. What's that? Expats?
Yeah.
What's that?
People that leave the island, live somewhere else, but they're from home. Well, we done a video years back called Camp Connection Hotline, and it really blew up in Alberta. There were men that I knew that were working out there that were sending the video around, emailing it to each other. It was like a sex hotline video.
We're on the news, you can't say that probably.
Oh, okay.
Going Out West is coming east this weekend.
It's finally happening.
And it's sold out.
Yeah.
And they added a bunch more screenings. So you can go on the Cineplex website and go see Tracy and Martina Going Out West.
And
we're that excited. And you know what? This show means more to me than any other show in the world.
In the world.
Because it's all of our family and friends coming and people who have been following us since day one. We appreciate that.
That's true.
And folks are still following Tracy and Martina. Okay, that is your late news for tonight. If you joined us a little late or you'd like another look at anything you've seen, ctvnewsatlantic.ca. It's always your home for news. I'm Bruce Frisco. Thank you for staying up late with us tonight. Have a good evening. We hope to see you again tomorrow.